Seth holds a mechanical engineering degree from the Cooper Union, as well as a Master's of Industrial Design degree from Pratt Institute. And Seth lives in Westchester, in a town that's really called Pleasantville. His family includes his loving wife and muse, Gabby, and their son, Lee, is a hardworking college student at a top-rated Virginia school, and they have a Cairn Terrier named Uno. So there's a lot that we want to find out about Seth. He's published a book called Secrets of a Creative Warrior, which is awesome. I have that here. And there's also a new book that's coming out next year, Answering the Call of Your Creative Warrior. So what we want to find out is a little background about you, then we're going to go into each of the books and maybe some tips that you have for us. So before I go into some of my questions, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background, how you got here.
Oh, well, sure. Well, thanks for having me here tonight, Heather. I got here through a long road of creativity. I was very interested in inventing things when I was a kid. And I was in my room and I said, how do I turn off the lights without getting out of the bed? So that was my first invention. How do I get out? How do I turn the lights over? So it just meandered into there, and I just enjoyed taking things apart, putting things back together. And my parents were like, "Well, you're an engineer. You got to go to engineering school." So I went to Cooper Union in New York City, and back in the '80s when it wasn't so great. You know, the East Village was not the East Village as we know it, but just being in the village with all that energy, all that creative energy, turned me on into being creative. Whereas mechanical engineering is more analytical and more breaks things down. I went to Pratt Institute in Brooklyn for my industrial design degree, and that's when everything blossomed for my creativity, because Pratt Institute was founded by people who came from the Bauhaus in Germany, and they would just allow you to do whatever you wanted to do. You know, they wanted your creativity to blossom. They wanted your ideas to just flow. There was no regulated idea. There was no hierarchy of ideas. Just whatever came out. And as long as it was, functional, industrial design is basically product design. As long as it's functional, and as long as it's a beautiful sculptural three-dimensional object, they were happy. So I did that, and here I am. I drove from Westchester.
You drove from Pleasantville,
an actual
Westchester,
town.
Not just Westchester, Pleasantville, an actual town. Well, I used to live in the village as well. Great place. It was a lot of fun, very creative. And I work a lot with engineers, so this is going to be a lot of fun for me. But I really want to go to your first book, Secrets of a Creative Warrior. And what's so that, I can't read the whole book to them right now. So why don't you tell them the primary message of that book?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Well, creativity is not just for the artist, right? When you think about being creative, you think, oh, I have to be an artist. But you don't have to be an artist. In fact, you don't even have to be artistic. It's all about developing a creative mindset. And a creative mindset is just how to open yourself up to new ideas, how to try new things, because the first idea that pops into your head is never the best one, right? So in order to become successful, just imagine a pyramid, right? In order to become successful, imagine success is on the top of the pyramid, and the bottom is more ideas. You need more ideas before you can pick the best idea. If you only have one idea, it's not going to be the best. So you need a lot of ideas to pick the best idea. When you pick the best idea, that becomes a good decision, right? When you have your best decision, it becomes action, turns into action. And then you perform better and you become successful just by having many ideas. And it's called divergent thinking, right? And in my book, Secrets of a Creative Warrior, I give 50, 60 techniques on how to develop your divergent thinking, become an expert in divergent thinking. And a lot of it is about brainstorming, right? Brainstorming, the key is quantity over quality, right? You need a lot of ideas. When you have an idea, you don't judge it. You just write it down. You have another idea, you write it down. You don't think about it, you don't judge, you don't compare it to the other ideas. You just have a long list. Because a lot of people say I'm not creative, it's because they evaluate their idea. They're like, this idea is no good, and they stop.
Assessing.
So the key is quantity over quality.
I love that. And we do that in groups too, in teams. So you're saying you can do this for yourself, and not just when you get together with a group to brainstorm an idea in a team in a company.
You can do it. It's a solo brainstorming.
I love that. Now, in developing this creative mindset, is there a top tip, or how do you do it? Like, is there something that they can actually take away to develop this idea of a lot of ideas? You know what I mean? Is there something that they can think about that would help with them with that?
Oh, sure. Well, the key is, as we were discussing, is that it's quantity. It's non-evaluation. It's just focusing on what comes into your head and not evaluating it.
Right.
But also in my book, I have 8 different principles, and one of the key principles is awareness.
Yeah.
You have to be aware of what's going on around you, right? You have to be aware of what's going on in your head. It's a lot about mindfulness. Creativity is a lot about mindfulness. It all comes down to understanding what's going on around you. Tuning in. It's all about tuning in.
Being observant.
Being observant. Being observant.
And open.
And open.
Yes.
And one of my techniques is called try a new mustard.
Try a new mustard.
Try a new mustard. It's like page 8. You want to hear a little bit about trying a new mustard?
I want to hear about this mustard thing. Yeah.
If you go into the supermarkets, you'll see your favorite. My favorite is Golden's, right?
Okay.
I never tried any new mustards.
Yeah.
One day I went in and I said, hey, how many mustards are there actually in the supermarket? I started counting. There was like 48 different.
Stop it.
There was literally
mustards?
48 different mustards. I'm missing out. I'm missing out.
Did you try them all?
I'm still trying. I think I got up to 37 because I really do like Golden's. But
no, so you still like the same one, or did you find another one that you liked?
The one, the stone one is pretty good. The one with the little
stone.
The little stone is good too.
Okay.
Yeah, but I still actually do like Golden.
You still go back to your Golden.
But it's just about opening your. It's kind of a silly example, but it's just about opening your mind to the variety in life.
Oh, I'm a.
Right?
You know me. I'm a fan of being open to new experiences and variety, and trying new things, and being fearless.
Right. You got to be fearless.
So I'm there. Just a touch more on divergent creativity versus divergent thinking. Are they the same? Are they different? Like how?
Yeah. Well, divergent thinking is the basis of creativity. You have to be a good divergent thinker to be creative, to have a creative mindset. I'd rather say, instead of saying, I want to be creative, I want people to understand that it's really developing your creative mindset. Yeah. It's really developing a mindset of openness, of what's going on around you, seeing all the different varieties in a theme. But divergent thinking is basically, if you think about divergent, there's a lot of different ideas you're opening up, but then eventually, and in my next book, I will explain what happens after you have all those ideas. You have to have it converge. You have to converge, right?
Yes,
so
it's right.
So after you have all the ideas, you'll at some point you say, okay, now I have enough ideas. I'm going to compare it,
narrow it back down,
and then you make the decision on your best decision.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, have we gotten to the new book, Answering the Call of Your Creative Warrior? That's how it relates to the first book, or is there more? Like, how else does it relate to the first book?
Well, think about this. Do you run? I think.
Reluctantly. I'm a reluctant runner. I run because it's the most efficient use of my time and exercise.
Right.
Not because I actually like it.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Same here. But think about people who run a marathon.
Yeah.
In my first book, trying to get to your goal, right, your success, is like running a marathon. Running down, imagine a road, and your success is down there at the end of the road, and you're running a marathon. You're all alone, you're running the marathon. That's the first book, how to develop your own creative mindset, alone. But in my second book, you're not alone. You're not alone. Now you're on a bicycle. You're getting to your goal faster.
Okay.
Right, and the definition of success in my second book is anything you want it to be. Any goal you have, that's success. As long as you get to your goal, that's success. There's nothing predetermined in terms of.
And people can have different versions of success.
Exactly, it's their own definition of whatever their personal success is. That's their success. So my first book is You're Running a Marathon. The second book introduces the concept of that you're not alone. You have an inner creative warrior inside you. The first book is try to become a creative warrior. The second book says, hey,